ask you a few questions.
A census taker tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
James, what film have you seen recently that is not horror that blew you away, and why?
Easy. Big Short. It's gonna win Best Picture. Got amazing performances by Steve Carell, Christian Bale, Brad Pitt, and Ryan Gosling, all playing against type. All about the housing market crash. Amazing performances all around.
Inconsiderate behaviour in cinemas, snacking, texting, talking. James, do you suffer from cinema rage?
Movie theaters are my sanctuary, and I can't stand it when somebody disrespects my sanctuary.
Isolation. Teenagers stuck in the middle of nowhere. Haunted buildings and predictable, gentle horror for the masses. Tell me about an intelligent horror film that's set within a crowded area during daylight.
I think one of my favorite horror films is actually an intelligent one that took place in broad daylight and in public. It's a movie called Fallen. You should check it out. James Gandolfini and Denzel Washington. And I think it accomplishes exactly what you're talking about. It's about how a demon jumps from body to body in the middle of the day without people noticing. Time is on my side.
During the film story creative process, sometimes the best suggestions can come from direct family not involved in the industry. Have you ever given a scenario to someone in your family, old or young, and their unexpected suggestion energised you to take your story onto another level?
All my family members work in the industry. But my father and my mother have both been very supportive and helpful. My dad is a 3-time Emmy Award-winning writer. He's won the WGA Award as well. He was one of the writers of Pinky and the Brain, Animaniacs. And he definitely looks at my scripts and gives feedback and suggestions, and he's an invaluable resource. But it also reminds me of a story when I was like 4 years old. My dad was writing on a TV show called Space Monkeys. And while he was on that show, he was trying to come up with an idea for an episode. And one of the things he was trying to think of is like, what do I do? What do I do? And there was a character called Rhesus 2, played by Malcolm McDowell. And, he's, picking his brain to figure it out. And I go, Dad, whatever happened to Rhesus 1? And he goes, oh my God, that's a great idea. Like, let's do that as an episode. So he cast David Warner to play Rhesus 1. So my dad took me to the recording session for that episode. And I went straight up to David Warner, and my dad was like, David Warner, this is James, and likes your character a lot. And I looked up at David Warner and went, I created you. And that was me at 4 years old. And my dad was like, yep, you're going to be a director, kid. So I definitely think, sometimes we are a product of our own environment.
Are you disheartened by the current film trailer trend to give away the plot? And do you have total control on the editing and content for the trailers for your own films these days?
I think trailers are an art form. A good trailer editor is, sometimes better than a good feature film editor. Trailer's what sells the movie. But usually I don't have control over what happens in my trailers. I know I didn't on my last couple movies because, you have the sales company and all the people on how it's right to market the film for sales and what's going to be good for foreign markets, deciding what the trailer and what the artwork is going to look like. So I get to give my input, but it's, I don't get the final say on that kind of stuff. And it is a little disheartening seeing, some of these trailers that come out that give away all the best moments of the movie. But I like to think that, sometimes they don't. So I go out and see a lot of them, and I'm usually pleasantly surprised when I see a movie.
Now talk to me about a disturbing film you've witnessed over the past few years that surprised and genuinely moved you.
I saw a movie called Shram. It's a German movie. It moved me because a guy hammers nails into his own penis. He hammered nails into his penis. Enough said.
When a company or individual invests in one of your films, do you find yourself constantly explaining that you want to cast people that are right for the roles instead of hiring recognisable actors that sell more cinema tickets?
I think it's a balance of the two. I mean, I know with my films, I always balance it out with recognizable faces that people want to see in a movie, and then I also give, roles to people nobody's seen before. A perfect example of that is my new movie, Bethany. We have Shannon Doherty, Tom Green, and Zach Ward are all in lead roles. But the main character of the film is played by Stephanie Estes. This was her first leading role. I always go with the best actor for the role, but I definitely think that you have to marry the two.
Oh, James, that's great to hear. When pitching for a film or TV idea, I find it surprising the lack of imagination some people have. The people that make those important decisions. Yeah, you gotta keep going and play the game, but sometimes you just want to cave their skull in. Oh mate, that was just a momentary loss of muscular coordination, alright? A few extra foot-pounds of energy per second. I like the creative TV and film talent in Australia, and I tend to be drawn to watch productions from there, and the same goes for some Korean and Japanese films. Has there been any foreign films you've watched recently that would not be on the usual radar for most people?
I'm a huge fan of foreign films. I mean, let me show you this. This is a tattoo from the movie Old Boy, Korean movie that inspired me to want to make movies. I've always been a fan of foreign movies. Foreign movies are actually my favorites. But I did see a recent movie from Australia that I really liked. It's called These Final Hours, and it's about the end of the world. It's a lot of fun. And it's fucked up.
Oh, nice one, James. I'll add that film to my list. James, I wanted to bring you in for a chat because you are incredibly supportive of other people within the industry, and you give people time, and to me that's priceless. Tell me if it has happened when someone has supported you in a way that was a surprise.
I have always relied on the kindness of strangers. But I will say this. I was taught at a very young age, do unto others as you would want others to do unto you. It's the golden rule. And I like to live by it. I was helped a lot by, different people donating their time, donating their energy to help me realize my dreams. And I understand the struggle of filmmakers and going out there. I really applaud anybody who's able to go through the trenches and actually create something, And I'm a strong believer that we're all in this together, It's a film community, and I think we should help each other. I don't think we're actually competing against one another, and I think a lot of people have trouble seeing that. So I always extend and am able to help others when they need my help, and I encourage others to go out there and create and make films. That's the foundation on which I built my career, and I definitely believe in that. I even have 2 awesome friends right now that work in the industry that are filming this interview for me as a favor. So, favors get you a long way, and sometimes when you need to help somebody out, they'll help you out in the future as well.
James, you bring tears to my bleeding eyes. Seriously, what you say strikes deep and is an important lesson. Is there anything you're working on you'd like to mention?
I'd like to talk about my movie Bethany that I was a co-writer on, produced and directed. It stars Stephanie Estes, Zach Ward, and Shannon Doherty, and Tom Green. It's a horror movie unlike anything you've ever seen. I think it's going to be really scary. It's a ghost film, and it's definitely my favorite thing I've ever done. Another movie I'd like to talk about is called Limelight. It's a drama that I directed and it's a very vibrant, colorful film. It stars Sean Kanan, Jenna Jameson, and a bunch more people. Paul Vandervoort, who was the producer as well as the writer of it, and I'd love for you guys to see it. Also follow me on Twitter at JamesCullenB, it's right down here, or check out my website, JamesCullenBressack.com. Let me know you watched the interview. I'm always happy to talk to people. I respond to my fans and my followers, so say hi. And yeah, thank you so much for listening, or watching, or whatever.
James, do you have any questions you'd like to ask me?
How long are you going to keep me here for? Let me out! I want my lawyer!
My client, he doesn't want it. Don't talk for me. Don't talk for... Shut up, Shannon! You can't just keep people here like this. My name is Blanche Dubois. Let me out! Let me out! I'm not crazy. I'm really not. Let me out. My name is Connor.
Seriously, let me out, though. Yeah, it's funny. No, let me out.